Mitch Gallagher from Sweetwater. As guitar players, we have a lot of options today when it comes to creating our personal tone. Two popular approaches are, first of all, to use your amp as the centerpiece of your tonal rig, and then enhance its clean and dirty tones with various pedals. A second approach, which is becoming increasingly popular, is to use the amp as a neutral, clean canvas, and then shape your tone using pedals. And this approach has meant that a lot of guitar players are now asking how well an amp takes pedals, as well as talking about amps as pedal platforms. But what does that mean? What makes an amp a great pedal platform, and what makes it work well with pedals? Now first, we should note that this isn't a new approach. Guitarists have been using pedals with amps for more than 50 years, of course. And players such as David Gilmour have long been using pedals into an amp to create their tones. But today, there are so many different pedals and so many different amps that the topics become a lot hotter. And in today's world, where many situations require getting a big sound at lower volume levels, using a smaller amp with pedals can give great results if the amp takes pedals well. So let's take a closer look at what makes an amp a great pedal platform. First of all, when we talk about an amp as a pedal platform, we're usually referring to how well it works with drive or gain pedals, such as overdrives, fuzzes, distortions, amp-in-a-box pedals, and so on. Most amps work perfectly well with delays, chorus, reverb, and other types of pedals, so most of our focus here is on drive pedals. The basic idea is we want the amp to be a neutral or blank canvas with a solid, clean tone that we can use as a platform where we'll shape our crunchy rhythm and more saturated lead tones. The amp's pretty much being used in this case to make the tone created by the pedals louder without providing a lot of coloration. So right off the bat, we've got a couple of characteristics of great pedal platform amps right there. Let's unpack it a little more. We want a nice clean tone that's not too colored. If the clean tone is really bright, for example, it may tend to make dirt pedals sound fizzy or thin. Too much upper mid-range and distorted tones from pedals might get harsh or sterile sounding or hard sounding. And if there's a big dip in the highs or high mids, pedals may lose their punch and become flat and lifeless. So the quality of the amp's clean tone before you turn on any pedals is a very important consideration. Now further to that, some players prefer a slight amount of grit in their clean tone, if you will. They find this works better with drive pedals, so that might also be a consideration if you like to work that way. A second consideration is headroom. If the amp's input is easily overloaded, drive pedals may sound mushy and muddy. We want that input to stay clean and articulate so the sound of the pedals remains consistent and punchy and our dynamics don't flatten out. This means an amp input that can handle fairly hot pedal outputs without going into distortion. Now, along with the headroom on the amp's input, we also want plenty of power on the amp's output. The idea with most pedal platform amps is to make the sound coming from the pedals loud enough for situations ranging from quiet practice at home to high volume stage gigs, with the amp staying clean on its output regardless of the level it's providing. So you'd think that a solid state amp would be ideal for this, and certainly many can be, but as it turns out, many players prefer the sound, response, and power that a tube power amp section provides. So this gives rise to another question. If we're asking the amp to have high headroom and plenty of power so it stays clean at any volume level, then is an effects loop required for the time-based effects such as delays and reverbs? And in many cases, an effects loop isn't essential for a pedal platform amp. But if the amp is providing coloration, or if you're using the EQ or tone controls on the amp to shape the sound, then an effects loop may give you better results for your time-based effects. A lot of amps are touted as great pedal platforms, ranging from tried and true familiar amps such as the vintage style Deluxe and Princeton from Fender, newer Fenders like the Hot Rod Deluxe and the Blues Junior, the Roland Jazz Chorus, Vox AC15 and AC30, the Dr. Z Z-Rec Junior, and many, many more. Now any of these can work very well, although each will add some degree of coloration to the tone, of course. Today we also have purpose-designed pedal platform amps such as the JHS Loud Is More Good, the Wampler Bravado, the Orange Pedal Baby 100, and two amps designed by one of the founders of the boutique pedal movement, Robert Keeley, along with Supro, the 1968 RK and the 1970 RK. Now I've got a Supro amp right here beside me. Let's listen to a few different drive pedals through it. Basing your tone off of pedals can be a great way to get the exact sound you're looking for, as well as provide a ton of versatility, since you can simply hook up a new pedal and you've got a new sound. But the key to that is finding an amp that makes a great platform for your pedals. If you're old school, that might mean simply running a fuzz face into a Marshall Plexi. But for many of us, this means landing on an amp that offers high headroom and plenty of clean power with minimal coloration. There are tons of options out there, ranging from vintage style amps to modern purpose-designed amplifiers specifically made to sound great with pedals. So if you have questions about whether or not an amplifier might make a great pedal platform for you, or to explore the many different amplifier options that are available, contact your Sweetwater sales engineer or visit sweetwater.com. Thanks. I'm Mitch Gallagher. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Click here for more videos like this, or start at sweetwater.com for all your music instrument and pro audio needs.